Good morning. This is Jim Morentz, and I'm here to talk to you today about Spot-On Response, an innovative mobile app and web application that brings trusted crowdsourcing to your situational awareness and incident management software. Let's begin by looking at a real case, the Evergreen earthquake exercise from 2012, in which one of the key findings was that participants placed a high value on information verified by human observation to develop post-earthquake situational awareness, that they rely on on-site first-hand assessments of impacts when making decisions about if and how to respond. This finding is not unique to earthquakes. It is common in after-action reports from all types of hazards and emergency response. Whether you are using an incident management application, a situational awareness tool, a geospatial operational viewer, or any of the other applications prevalent in emergency management, every one of these applications benefits from having field observations so that you understand what is happening in the situation. Spot-On Response provides trusted, real-time, location-based ground truth from field observations. And what is trusted crowdsourcing? It can be tens or hundreds or thousands of trusted people to provide sources of information every day and during an emergency, whether they are your emergency management and public safety staff, other government employees, Red Cross and other volunteers, or CERT-trained individuals. All of these become trained sources of trusted, accurate, timely incident information to support the situational awareness that you seek in making your emergency management decisions. Let's take a look at Spot-On Response in action. When my trusted crowd is alerted to any type of an event, there are 3 steps. First of all, here I am. This is the me icon. I know exactly where I am because I'm using a location-based mobile app. Secondly, I observe a problem of some sort. I simply click on the plus. I have a choice. These are determined by your organization. This is going to be a problem that we're going to have with lifelines. I'm going to present a spot report, and it's going to be about a utility line down. My description can be entered as text, and I can submit it just that quickly. And what I have right next to the me icon now is a utility line down. Note the 2 red items there. These tell me that I'm close to these 2. This report of damage at South Beach right there is near enough to me that my location-based situational awareness tells me that this is near me. Whether it's a large emergency, an injured student, some type of an accident in a laboratory, or a health problem, the entry of these incidents into Spot-On Response allows me to share it to other Spot-On Response users, other mobile users, as well as to other applications. Not only do I benefit by knowing about other incidents that are in my neighborhood, but I know where other people are. I have my team, those who have logged on to Spot-On Response, part of the trusted crowd, and I know now that John Wilson is over here in this location. We can begin to develop a constructive sharing environment. In addition, all these people begin to participate. We have a check-in function. So were I to want to notify everyone that I am going to help out, observe, or whatever the other capacity is that I wish, I can simply check in to this location. I'm now made part of the team, and when the next person comes in at the bottom, they see that Jim Morentz has joined this team to support this Lifelines incident. Location-based situational awareness means that I know incidents around me. I know reports of personnel who are part of my trusted team, and I know where that trusted team is. Following the initial assessment of spot reports, our trusted crowd then begins to provide detailed field observations. These are made in text, in voice, in photographs, and in detailed external reporting applications. Let's stay with this utility line down, and I now want to add more information to that because I'm nearby. So what I'm able to do is add an update to that. Our observation is going to be that people have marked an area around the down power line. I could add status, need, categories, other things, but for illustration purposes, what I want to do is add a photograph. Were I on a mobile device, I would simply take the photograph with my camera here. I'm just going to illustrate adding a picture here. And we now have this utility line that is shown as a down location. We have the check-in earlier. We have citizens creating a safety zone. And we have a photograph just taken of that down power line. The spot reports from my trusted crowd, plus all the field observations associated with those reports, are immediately shared with other applications, whether it's an incident management application, a geospatial viewer, or in fact any of the free Google Earth tools. All that information about field reports and incidents are shared to those other applications from spot-on response. What does that mean for the spot-on response user? Well, if we come up here, we display our filters, and I'm now going to add all of the other information coming in from these other applications. We see that we have dispatch system. We have other applications that are in giving out information about a liquefaction taking place. Or over here we have something that's happening at the marina, the Bay Bridge. Over here we've got another spot report on some initial damage. All this information becomes available to me on my mobile device. Why? Certainly situational awareness. But more importantly than that, I now want to become part of the trusted crowd. As part of the trusted crowd, I focus on areas that I can influence or help with. Let's say that I have some expertise in bridge structures. There's a light rail track is offset. It's currently out of service. I have some expertise, or I wish to be able to support that. I'm going to go look at what's happening there. In fact, learn that we have some photographs of that light rail environment. I get my directions to go to that area. And in fact, were I to go there, I can then check in, as we saw before, knowing that I am now part of this team reporting on that. And in fact, I can then create new updates about that particular problem, just as we saw before. Note the location-based situational awareness, because I have just moved a few blocks, walked or driven perhaps, and now the red bars that indicate things that are close to me have changed. Not only do I have the opportunity for location-based situational awareness, but I have many other tools that are available to me. Display filters, for example, where I am an expert in ground failure. I can simply add that into my filters, and what I have then are only ground failure events. And this allows me then to proceed to go to the Presidio station to perhaps observe some specific ground failure that takes place. I can do that by driving that route, walking that route, or I can do it virtually by seeing who else has been at that route and has in fact now here noted some element of ground failure. I've now moved to a different part of the city, and my concerns are different, my teammates are different, and to illustrate the connection to other applications, we see a fire staging area here. If I look at more detailed information about that fire staging area, we see that it's been established because of a chlorine leak. I can see the chemical plume model created by the chlorine leak. And with my location, the location there of Lenny Dexter, we might very well want to prepare. Here I am now proceeding west with an interest perhaps in this school. The school, Los Lomas High School, has some clearly visible damage according to this report. Am I to look at that information? I'm able to find more details of it. And in fact, one of the elements that I have here is a site plan of the school. All of that information in the palm of my hand is made available through the connection of Spot-on Response to other applications that you have approved for sharing information. Let's now take a look at some of the geospatial information that is so critical to understanding the environment in which an emergency occurs. That geospatial information is entered into Spot-on Response dynamically in a number of different formats. For example, we can take a look at all of the Bay Area fault zones, and displayed here are the fault zones overlaying all of the real-time information about spot reports and other components of the emergency response. Similarly, other geospatial data can be used. Healthcare facilities, for example. Here we see a skilled nursing facility. These are the toxic facilities. That toxic facility could very well become an increased risk in the event of an emergency. A key consideration in an earthquake incident is unreinforced masonry buildings, all of which here in Berkeley have been recorded, and this is those buildings that have not been strengthened. So what's the value of this geospatial information? In the environment of the trusted crowd, it becomes a potential for a field observation to be made. For example, I go to that location. I can then see whether it is in fact a problem, and I have observed damage to the front porch. I submit that. What I can do then is provide additional field information about that location. I can create an update. I will be able to have the front porch damage pictures. That information is quickly submitted, and the next person that wants to know about that building damage is able to see the problem there. From many other sources, all the geospatial information that's available is presented in your mobile device through Spot-on Response. Just by way of illustration, a couple of NASA-produced models, the strain map related to an earthquake in the California area. Again, the integration of the model information with all of the real-time response information helps one to be able to associate problem areas with emergency response capabilities. Finally, several capabilities that are part of the Spot-on Response app. Fully integrated with Google Traffic allows one to be able to, during an emergency or on an everyday basis, see what's happening in the area. Integrated with multiple weather sensors allows you to get very good information about wind speed, direction, and others. The satellite view is always available very quickly to be able to get the contour and the lay of the land. Terrain maps instantly available to show you the elevation. Google Street View allows you to observe the ground level view of areas in which your emergency response is taking place. All of your situational awareness and incident management applications build on geospatial information about the environment. When something happens, sensors and models give an indication of where the earthquake or the flooding or the chemical plume might be. You look at the inventory of at-risk locations to determine whether a problem is going to result from that hazard impact. And you then begin to gather reports from responders, from dispatch, from the EOC incident management to understand what that impact is. But now the unique capabilities of Spot-on Response come into play. All the information that you've been accumulating in your EOC, situational awareness, and incident management applications become immediately available in the field. Spot-on Response receives all the data, providing location-based situational awareness to your trusted crowd. Your trusted crowd, in turn, provides field observations back to your emergency management applications. Those field observations are assisted by Spot-on Response, ability to direct your crowd to appropriate locations, to give them the ability to record observations in text or photographs or voice-to-text or videos, and for you to add external reporting capabilities to spot-on response. All that trusted field information then becomes available to any organization that is connected and sharing with all of the other partners back to their own existing applications. Now, you can add that level of detailed, trusted crowdsourcing to your geospatial situational awareness and incident management applications today. Spot-on response, cloud-hosted mobile app and web application for your EOC. It's inexpensive, it's proven, and it's available to you. Please give us a call.